Welcome back to the most professional StarCraft 2 with a former world champion Zerg in the blue, the Executioner. It's Rogue. Facing off against the Terran in the red, the Cartographer, we have Percival. In a best of 3 Terran versus Zerg showdown. And whether you'd like to see the Executioner claim another victim or Percival finally get his underdog story started, it'd be awesome if you could start things off by smashing that like button. And maybe even subscribe. Help me count the algorithm. Jimmy, what do we have? No cringing. 1,689 likes on this video, on this cast. And I'll cast another one. And I'll probably do it anyways because I don't know what else I'd do with my life. But thank you for watching. Hopefully you've had a good day so far. And hopefully it's about to get just a little bit better as the first Reaper heads across the map. Rogue not opting for that quick 3 hatch. A lot of Zerg players have been trying to sneak out lately. Rogue, I'd say, one of the Zerg players kind of set in his ways. Oh, well, or maybe he just thinks his ways are the best one. As a professional player for almost a decade and a half, winning championships in probably most of the years of that career, compared with Percival, who's one of our youngest, especially Korean players, I believe 23, which sounds young now. But Rogue, much more of the make sure you have exactly what you need, and then you can get what you want. Which I'm pretty sure is both a song lyric, as well as effectively saying nothing at all. But it sounded profound, and that's what's important. And speaking of profound, a lair is already on the way. Rogue with a whole lot of gas. 3rd CC for Percival, halfway done. He's got a Marine in the main base. Has not even gotten a starport yet. So about as greedy as you can get as a Terran. And Rogue has no way of knowing about this, by the way. The Overlord saw the expansion, and past that, it's just kind of implied there's going to be a 3rd base. It's kind of implied it's probably going to be Hellions and then Banshees. But it's not. It's 3 CC, no starport, double engineering bay. It doesn't get much greedier than this. There's going to be no way of putting pressure on Rogue, but Percival... Okay, so there's 4 gas geysers. He's got a roach horn at the front. I think it's a fake. I think this is Mutas. Now, okay. There's no way for Rogue to know how obscenely greedy Percival is being. But showing all this at the front without... The Spire is on the way. And Rogue is bringing us back to the future with a 2-base Muta rush. Now you might be like, well, that's a 3rd hatchery. That 3rd hatchery isn't done. There's already 3 command centers completed. This is a very old school strategy that, well, in Legacy of the Void, which has been around for about a decade now, better or worse, kind of fell by the wayside because the economy of Terran, Protoss, and to an extent Zerg is so high early on. The window for mutas to get damage significantly lower. The Queens sidestep the... Yeah, they're not going to catch me with that one. Oh, great job, Brenda. You stepped back for 1 second. And then I came back forward. All right, did the hokey pokey, turned it all up. Stop. Stop. Rude. Sorry. But the Queen's able to zone things out. Now, he didn't even start roach speed. If you were really trying to sell it here, I think you start roach speed the moment, at least, the vision comes into range. So that way it really looks like that early roach play. But Rogue is rushing mass Muta up against, well, Percival, who's going to have a lot of well-upgraded Marines. But the one thing he's not going to have is early medevacs because he went for the double engineering bay. There's the scan, spots the Spire. Mutas are already in production. Here we go. The battle's going to be fun, the production tab for now. But he saw the Spire done. He doesn't know that the Mutas are still in production. He just knows that they could be out and flapping across the map to murder him right now. So not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 turrets already in production, which is a small price to pay for safety and security, especially when you do not have any medevacs, you don't have that many Marines. And Rogue is using the clear window that Muta scout provided him. He's already up to 64 drones. He's going to take out the very first Marine. First blood. Won't be the last, but the Hellions moving in. Gonna incinerate some of the drones at the 3rd base. Mutas will move to intercept. Zergling speed is done. Still finding a lot of drone kills. 8 drones dead. Make that 10. Percival racking up a decent chunk of them in order to counteract the damage. And most importantly, this buys time. He's got +2 infantry weapons and armor on the way. He's got a 3rd base mining. He's got dead even worker count. So, while Rogue is going for that old school Mutiling Bane style, the Widow Mine's an existential threat, but the first 2 are going to be taken out. Another big pick off for Rogue. He really needs to build up the momentum. If the Widow Mine count gets too high, or the Marines are able to trundle across the map with better upgrades and force a fight, the Mutas will lose. They're best at avoiding confrontation, much like many StarCraft players. So, a face-to-face sort of battle must include Lings and Banes before they include the Mutas. Speaking of, a few Banelings waddling in, he actually saves the SCVs with the medevac. What a play by Percival. A few more Marines picked off to the left side. More Banelings waddling by. Baneling speed's on the way. +1 Carapace and +1 flyer attack completed, but Percival is holding on to his army composition. He's already got a 4th base on the way. Those SCVs, traumatized from their experience, are still idle after coming out of the medevac. Small mistake there. The Mutas slip around to the back, working on the refinery. Marines will stim in. And another group of Zerglings is looking for an opportunity. Percival trying to put pressure on the front. The Banelings, the split, not good enough. And more Banelings on the way. The Mutas flapping right back down to the natural. Meanwhile, front side, Banelings roll right into the Marines. Zerglings into the 3rd. Now all the SCVs are idle. The engineering base being targeted, and the upgrades are really the only saving grace right now for Percival, as the Mutas continue to run him around in circles. And without the ability to fly and match him, well, he's going to finish 2-2. But another couple SCVs are going to get picked off. I don't think that depot is that important now that Rogue has helped him out with supply blocks. But the eventual issue, nice little micro there by Rogue to minimize the damage to the Mutas. The eventual issue is that on Lair Tech, you cannot get the 3-3 upgrades as Zerg. Speaking of, already started, a bit optimistic. If you lose the engineering bay, you just get the money back. Widow Mine slams the point home, but Rogue has already found so much damage. He's kept Percival off his back and slipped in behind his own. The Lings and Banes, well, he hasn't killed that many SCVs, a dozen, but he's really undercut the momentum of this Terran army. Right when he's looking to get out on the map, he has to keep coming back. So, Percival, I think, kind of battening down the hatches. He's got that 2nd factory. Looks like he built it at the 3rd base. The 4th base is going to be very important. Rogue clearly thinks so as well. As bringing the Zerglings in, but these are 2-2 Marines against just +1 Carapace Lings. He requires Banelings and Mutas. He needs those force multipliers here. The Marines should be more than enough. The Muta's overhead. He's got 18 of them. Thor is in production. +2 flyer and 1-2 on the ground. More Marines going to be picked off, but the supply is starting to even up as the efficiency coming through. Percival sprinting across the map. The Mutas opening up the door so the few Zerglings can stream through, but the Widow Mine slam and take big bites out of the Mutalist flock, but swinging around again. Gonna try to get right on top of the turret. He does so. Meanwhile, double drop. 1 Baneling, not enough. More on the way. 20 SCVs dead. As Percival, desperate to get some damage done, he's gonna drop on the Reaper balcony, which, without the Mutas here, that's actually gonna be incredibly, almost impossible to dislodge. Percival has found the best case opportunity. There's a Thor in the main cleaning up the Zerglings. And then he dropped right out of it. He eats a few more Baneling hits. Rogue, macro hatch, still very importantly and very notably, no hive tech, no infestation pit. He's full there all the time. The Mutas chasing down the drops. But it appears the beat will end here. But Percival bought himself some more space. 5 more turrets on the way. The TPM, the turrets per minute, raising in a way we usually only see in Bronze Lake Heroes. But Percival's closing in on those 3-3 upgrades. He's weathered the Mutas. He still has 54 SCVs, which is not great, but it's not terrible. And Rogue is finally acknowledging he might have to go further up the tech tree. He's got the infestation pit in production. Now, another Bioforce to the left flank. +3 infantry weapons. A Contaminate actually delays +3 armor, which is kind of crazy. Meanwhile, a couple Widow Mines in position. Mutas flapping forward. So far, just 18 Mutas on the field. He's lost 14. Not a huge investment. Right about the... Pretty much exactly what you need to one-shot Widow Mines. I think one-shot Medivacs as well. But without committing so much army supply to Mutas that they'll get shredded out of the sky by the Thors. And speaking of, he burrowed his Zerglings here. I don't know if that was intentional, but the Banelings roll in and melt through a whole bunch of the Marines. Meanwhile, there are 2 Zerglings in the main base. What? A bit of a side plot here. One of the Thors tucks its legs into the medevac. The other one stands its ground. Meanwhile, more Zerglings down the center. The wall, the door is open! Oh no, Percival. He might be able to target down the base. Loses even more Marines. The Thors with some big hits. Micros away. Another volley. And, well, the Thors do terrible, terrible damage to the Mutas and will take out another chunk. Percival getting the damage done over to the right side as well, but he's still down 50 supply. There's Zerglings in the main, Zerglings in the natural. He cleaned up the Thors, loses a hatch on the left side. Widowmine will clean up some of the Lings and Banes. But how did the Zerglings keep getting in? Who is Rogue bribing? He just has the door wide open. I mean, it's not like you have to pay per depot, but... or any of the depots, technically, but the fact it's wide open is definitely not helping things. Still, though, the main weakness of this composition, the inability to take an efficient trade, is continuing to be Rogue's prevailing issue. The Muta's still flocking around. He's now got 20, and he's just given up on the whole kind of balanced composition, and he's all in on the Mutas. He's going all the way. Do or die. And as long as no more than one Thor glances in his direction, he might be able to do. But that is the danger here. He didn't even start the hive yet. 76 drones, but he lost 2 hatcheries. There is burrow done, but no banelings. I don't think he has revealed the burrow at all. A changeling in the pipe 5x5. Am I right, boys? You want a piece of meat, boys? Yeah. Yeah. Where are we going? All right. Oh, okay. Yeah. Don't do drugs. He just didn't get his stim pack today. I like the Changeling and the Burrowed Zergling. Rogue going with all the alternative vision strategies. It's like he took him out there. But the Burrowed Zergling still going to spot the army. Those medevacs, a strong gust of wind might blow them away. And there's a bit stronger with 26 Mutalisks on the field. But oh no, Thor! Big volley of splash damage. But magic boxes a bit to spread out the damage. And minimizes it for the rest of them. Meanwhile, another attack. Beautiful spread. I can't believe it's not butter. Tucks the Marines behind. Widowmines put almost all of the Mutas in autumn colors, but wait, there's more! Oh, wow! Those Widowmines hidden behind the refinery. Almost taking out the entire flock. But he manages to survive. And again, the Marines. Get down, Marines! The Marauders out in front. Rogue just A-moves the Banelings. And oh no, wait a second, the Marines are able to chew through a whole bunch of this. Percival still dangerously close on supply. The Orbital dangerously close to burning in the sky. And right now, Percival is asking himself, why don't I have any effective anti-air that can fly? And Rogue, on the other hand, is finally going to sigh because he's got his entire 100% hive. Like and subscribe. I'm not a rapper. Jimmy, edit that so it sounded good. The Widowmine taken out. The Changelings. I think he got distracted by his own Changelings for a moment and had to kind of parse through that. More Mutas. He finishes a hive and the first thing he builds, 3 more Mutas. Beautiful. Risky. Beautiful. A dangerous game. But this single, he knows the map is dark and full of Terrans. And Rogue right now keeping vision of it. He's not going for the big Bane plays. He doesn't want Percival scanning, but instead, honestly, Burrowed Bane's kind of a massive risk compared to the vision you can gain from the Burrowed Lings. Ultraless Cavern is on the way. And Adrenal Glands as well as Rogue has reestablished pretty much every base on his side of the map. Finishes off the orbital that he started with the Mutas earlier. Stims in with the Marines, Percival on the left side. Another army down the center. A few Banelings just kind of chilling out in the middle of everything. Turrets no good against the Zerglings on the ground. Rogue is slowly but surely drawing even on upgrades. But the army supplies are still very close. it's still a bit of splash damage away from wiping the mutas out of the sky. And the vast majority of Rogue's army lead with it. 14 drones dead, 18 SCVs. Another Thor gonna be hunted down in its own base. 28 mutas in the sky right now. The Thor! The door Thor! Oh. Mind the gap. Meanwhile, try to target. Widowmine gets a splash, but at this point, Marines are not enough. The mutas with +2-1. Rarely do you see... Oh, what? You can fit a Thor down there? Next thing you know, your mother will even fit. What? Okay. I draw the line somewhere between a Marauder and a Thor. I don't know where the line for these balconies should be, but somewhere... Oh my. Well, that's happening. The Thor pounding its way into the hatchery from the low ground. Rogue still running him in circles with the mutas. But Percival has brought Rogue to 43 drones. He's knocking out hatcheries. He still has 3-3 Marines. The Thor is still chilling on the balcony. He's just gonna leave it there. There's 30 mutas coming back to deal with it. But Rogue is back down to his first 3 bases. The supplies are still excruciatingly close to even. I feel like Rogue's gonna use Burrowed Banes for the first and the last time soon. Because one way or another, it could be a game-ending move. With the economies this low, the orbital count is down to 0, which is not very many. Oh no, it's a Scarlet versus Bomber situation. And Changelings, hey, where are we going, boy? Oh, he figures it out. Yeah, that guy was a traitor, right? Yeah, you could tell. You could tell. Oh, yep. Here we go. Ah! Oh my. But Rogue, the income has been in his favor, but the army well, it's 23 Marines and 9 Widowmines against 34 mutas. He keeps flying over the burrowed Zergling. And there they are. The Burrowed Banes. 1 orbital command. He just built it. Thor is here. How many Thors have trickled to their death? 5 Thors dead so far. Widowmine taken out. He does have the drilling claws, right? Another mine. As Rogue has leaned on the mutas surprisingly strongly. They've been able to keep up with him. All it's gonna take is 1 Bane mine. I don't even know if he necessarily needs it. But thing is, the mutas are still such a... Oh, the Widow Mine in the mineral line! He didn't spot it! Oh, there were 2! The surprise splash damage. He's gonna try to bait him, I think, back over, but the Thor drop bringing the splash damage in. Oh my... He just walked right over it. But this is not that many Marines. That's pretty much all the Marines. Well, there's a bunch of Marines on the right side as well. Thing is, both of these groups of units cannot deal with this. The Widow Mines might help, but he comes in, gonna try to trade the economy away. And, well, I don't think you're getting out of this one. Banelings are rolling by. Percival, realizing the situation, gonna split the Marines back, picks them up the last second. A lot of Banelings dead for minimal losses, but another medevac taken down. The economy's being broken on either side. 36 to 31 workers left. But Rogue still has a murder of mutas in the sky. There's 11 Marines, 5 mines, but 2 Thors. Those 2 Thors are an existential threat. This Bane mine is not even that important anymore because what's it gonna hit? Honestly, it's Thors or no. Does he fire off 2 of them? I don't even... Yeah, well, unfortunately, those Banelings can't build a missile that fires massive splash damage. Oh, that was the saddest thing I've ever fucking seen. So if you're wondering why players struggle to use Bane mines in today, in current year, this is... One Widow Mine accident. I wonder if Percival noticed the explosion. He's probably playing on potato graphics and didn't see it. But... for all that anticipation, one casual Widow Mine thrown out there manages to kill off the most major threat Accidentally. Oh my. And suddenly, well, I don't think the main mine was going to be the tide turner here. It's the Thors and the ability to keep them alive. Well, thing is, Zerglings are great against Thors. The Thors will prioritize the Mutas, though. And it's still 3-3 to 2-2. He's working on +3 carapace. The economies are so low, Rogue has snuck out a few more drones. But the Mutas, magic boxing, trying to keep the spread. Not doing an incredible job of it, but I don't think he lost any there. Picks up the Marauders, but where are you going to go? Oh, almost into the Widow Mines. Eats a hit along the side. Manages to bait him in. Another mine gets a connection from the grave. And Thor's on either side. He can take out a lot of the Mutas with those Thors. I think Rogue is playing with splash damage way too much right now. Well, he doesn't know how bad it is for sure for Percival. He can't see its 160 to 100 supply. He knows all he has are a flock of Mutas and some mediocrely upgraded Zerglings and Banelings. They're about to get a little bit better. The medevacs are all badly bruised as they try to maneuver the Thors around. How many Thors? Oh my, the cartographer having real struggles with pathfinding. Now, the splash damage coming in. He tries to juke it. Does a pretty good job. Thor retargeted on the center mass. But Rogue has reestablished enough economy that unless some of these Widow Mines are able to get those, like, plot device level hits that we already saw, it's looking improbable for our Terran player to turn this around. He just hasn't been able to keep enough Thors together in order to pose a real threat to the Mutas. One Thor is a danger. 2 Thors is something you need to avoid. 3 Thors, and you can't fight at all. 4 Thors, and however many mines ago we said Mech Terran was not the way, but at this stage of the game. Oh, wow. Widow Mines hit the Banelings as Rogue tries to draw them out, but draws them in, but the Banelings rolling into the planetary fortress. The Muta's over the top. The Thor ripped to shreds by the ankle-biting Zerglings. Another Thor pops out. Percival fighting for his life, but he only has so many left. GG in English and Korean as Percival taps it out. Still a hard-fought battle. Still, I can't get over that Widow Mine killing the burrowed Bane Mine, thus demonstrating exactly the value of both things and why they're used the way they are. 47 Mutas dead, 525 Zerglings, 4 painful Thors. Wow, 43 Widow Mines. In an action-packed game. I think maybe some mistakes on both sides, but they combined to make a very dramatic ending. Rogue, with more experience in that sort of scenario. I do love Rogue still using the Maru portrait in-game, by the way. After notoriously beating Maru in one of the most lopsided GSL finals of all time, I think he's used the Maru portrait since then. Which, you know, seems like a trophy on the wall for the Executioner. Feels like one of those scenarios that Percival has dealt so little with mass Muta. It's such an old build. It still checks out, but it's so rare nowadays because you are a quarter second away on a Widow Mine, away from undercutting your critical mass of Mutas. You're a half second away on the Thors. But Rogue kept him busy, and Percival just kept not quite having enough to pull off the counterattacks. I did think the counterattacks were risky, to say the least. But they ended up working out. Like, if you kill a bunch of drones in a hatch for double drop of Marines and Marauders, and you force the Mutas back, that's worth it. Especially if you're still mining back at home, obviously. But it eventually got whittled down to the point it was the Thors. All right, unwieldy creatures. The fact that you could drop Thors on that balcony, though, is, well, they build them tough. Are you? It's a bit much. We'll see. I guess I'd like to call attention to the Bane Mine again. Just as your humble, modest. A lot of people say I'm humble, and maybe the most modest caster out there. A lot of smart, breathtaking people in the comments say that, so that's how you know they're smart. But I did say the first Bane Mine will probably be the last, one way or another. Now, did I expect that's how it would go? No. But technically correct. And honestly, the burrowed Zerglings probably got infinitely more value than the most Marines you can really hit with a Bane Mine is like, if they really stack them up and get all up close and personal, like 12. If you add more than 2 Banes, okay, maybe like 20. But even then, it's just minerals. So it could make the difference, but even Cyril has said it's just not worth the effort. Like, it's literally not worth the attention you're putting in to keep, like, trying to hit that money shot. Yes, I know what I said. It's just not worth the attention to maybe get the most beautiful dramatic hit, but you're probably dropping the ball in half a dozen other places if you're continually dragging your attention back to that spot. If only the Banelings would fire a missile that would explode and hit a big chunk of units on its own. That would be convenient, but apparently unnecessary, to be clear. Creep tumor on the high ground and rogue again. Not going for the click third. Churlish, insubordinate, get off my creep. Brenda, he just walked away, or jetpacked, or whatever. Well, technically, the point still stands. It's not like a victory cry. It's a warning. If you say so. Why do I feel like you're being more patronizing than usual? Oh, patronizing? You mean Patreon? Like you can find in the description of this video. Now stop breaking the fourth wall. Not right now. Sorry. I'm blacked out for a moment. Banshee on the way. Percival not taking chances this time. Not gonna go straight. So the double engineering bay, I think, a blessing and a curse. The upgrades kept him in the game, but the lack of early pressure kept him from scouting and made it almost impossible to really keep the Mutas from gaining the initiative. So, Again? This is such a rogue move. We're playing a roguelike right now. Mutas! Those strategies, like, am I gonna go for the same build this game? Or do we have any sort of meta progression buffs? No, not in this game. You start with the same amount of drones that Cyril does, the same amount of SCVs Clem does, same amount of probes that Classic does. Alright, this entire genre is roguelike games. Especially this one, apparently. Spire's halfway there. Double engineering bay for Percival before... Oh, wait, no. After he got his 3 racks. Okay, should be in a better position. Well, just a few pixels away from spotting the Spire. If he comes around and he sees the gases here, I feel like that's a giveaway, even without seeing the Spire outright. Oh, what a treat. Mutas, yet again. Yeah, he's gonna see the Spire. I mean, I'm sorry, he sees the gases. And the Mutas are implied, but the Zergling, no! Oh god, this is the worst possible timing. Oh, sweet Kerrigan. You couldn't ask for much better than this. Killing SCVs at this stage. I mean, well, okay, wait a second. 16 drones dead, and the Banshee... Wow, 17... Ugh, I lost. My words don't work anymore. Yep, that's a Spire. I don't know how he didn't see it with the Banshee. He had to be sure, but 17 drones slaughtered by Hellions and Banshee. Both units were likely to be taken out the moment the Mutas pop out as well. So I take it back. The Zergling counterattack was pretty good, but killing 17 drones with units that are about to come up on their expiration date is much, much better. Percival. Another strong start. Severely hamstringing Rogue's economy right as he's looking to start booming. But the Mutas flocking in. Knock out one of those Marines. More stemming back. But Percival's at 56 SCVs. He's building the second factor in a timely fashion. +1 flyer attack is on the way, but the upgrades are going to be the main issue yet again. 1-1 already completed. The armory nearly there as well, so gonna drop the Marines back to the main to box out the Mutas. So far, Percival doing a great job of keeping them at bay, but again, he is forced back into a defensive position, so Rogue is able to compound the drone lead. Thor is already out of the way. We're not messing around this time. Not trying to see, oh, is he committed to the Mutas, or is he just going to build like 5? No. He's going all the way. The siege tank is picked off. Marines as well as the Mutas just slipping and sliding through the sky and picking off Marines on the way by. Trying to chase him down. 7 more Mutas on the way. Oh my. Few Widowmines out there. No drilling calls yet, but even a single hit could deter them from going much further. Don't think he'll delay the command center, but Percival trying to outflank. More Marines going to be taken out. Oh, Widowmine catches him on the way out, gets a big hit. Even unburrows to try to save it. I'm sure it's not there before. The Thor! The mobile turret Thor! I do love that. 17 Mutas now, but Thor's continuing production. A Thor definitely much more dangerous than a basic turret. Okay, he's just gonna take down these rocks and make sure. There's multiple turrets, but the Thor gonna take another pot shot. This time Percival being so careful. I love the adaptation. And, oh no, that's a big one. Another big hit. But the Zergling count is growing. Percival's at 69 SCVs, which is a nice economy, but Rogue at 80 drones, so catching up quickly. And by catching up, I mean surpassing it. The thing is, Percival's upgrades. His supply. Looking very strong, especially in comparison to Mutiling Bane. Two Thors now. As the medevacs overhead has not committed a chunk of the army to do a sort of base trade, but instead is going to go for the all-out attack. Couple Banelings roll by. There's 14 Banes, 24 Mutas. But 2-2 upgrade's not quite done yet. Oh, but a huge volley. Didn't go for +1 attack. +1 attack, I believe, it's been so long, allows you to 2-shot Mutas with Thors. Assuming they don't have Carapace, which they do not. But instead, Percival takes a step forward. Now he's got to take a couple back. The Mutas run right by with the Zerglings. The Banelings try to cut off the reinforcements. 8 SCVs dead. And if Percival can't either kill this army or do critical damage, but he's on top of the Baneling nest and potentially the Spire as well. 24 SCVs dead. Zerglings in the main. You gotta close the doors. Thankfully, +2 upgrades done. He denies +2 fire attack, takes out the Spire. The Queens will take... Well, it looked like Percival would have a decisive timing, but instead Rogue completely undercut it. But huge volleys from the Javelin missiles out of the Thors. Gonna try to burrow, but distracted a little bit. The Thors are still chasing, struggling to pick them up in time to actually chase down the Mutas. There's still a bunch of Zerglings burrowed in the main. He took out the turret and immediately burrowed the Zerglings. So Rogue is still nearly maxed out, but he lost his Spire and his Bane Nest. So he only has 108 Zerglings and 21 Mutas to fall back on. He's rebuilding. Percival, again, trying to pin down the Zerg army. But the Zerglings unburrow in the main. He lost his engineering base, thankfully, after he got his upgrades. But the Zerglings, and he has no risk. He has to stim whatever he had for reinforcements. And again, the army's headed out. The Muta's swinging in towards the 4th. 3 turrets is a bit too much to deal with for now. More Lings and Banes. Trying to clean up. Needs detection for it. Gonna lose some of the drones on the left flank. Meanwhile, Muta's. Thor's closing in. Muta's slip away for now. There's medevacs with the army, but obviously Muta's kind of preclude those being a free getaway vehicle. We don't mind. One very dead Baneling cocoon. We don't mind scattered throughout, finding some hits. Rogue gonna open up another opportunity. Percival clawing back towards 200 supply. He scans his natural where there were no Zerglings. Just in case. He's put the fear in his heart now. The Muta's butt. There's 3 Thors on the field. Enough to really deal with this. They got +1 armor as well. Very helpful for the medevacs as well as the Widow Mines. Don't know about this army though. Gonna try to get a big mine hit. And decent chunk. Muta's in the main base. Will take out the missile turrets. The new engineering base. Oh no. The upgrades were the one thing that Percival was relying on. Unfortunately, the engineering bay placement right at the edge of the base is easy pickings for the Mutalisks. The Thors might hit him on the way out, though. 2-2 now done. +3 infantry weapons was taken out. The Marines in the main base, they can't afford to stim anymore. But the Thors will shore them up. Planetary Fortress. Few Banelings rolling in. Gonna try to repair. I think the Banelings might be enough to break this. It's kind of, well, actually, no, wait a second. Oh, he's not killing the planetary. Oh, no. He saves the planetary rogue with a haphazard roll-in. And suddenly Percival, 180 to 190 supply. Meanwhile, though, Ultralisk Cavern, Adrenal Glands, 3-3 upgrades on the way. Rogue might be able to take the advantage on the ground yet again. And yet both sides flinging units every which way. Banelings rolling through. Percival down to 63 SCV. Still perfectly fine at this stage of the game. He takes out the base on the left flank. And it's 5 bases to 5, give or take. Rogue has taken the income lead to some extent, but it's about the army supply. And right now, 131 Zerglings. 16 Mutalisks. Muta's fighting over the 4th. Zerglings. Big bite taken out by the Widowmons. But he gets through the turrets. Oh no. Looks like the results of a disaster. The Thor's over on the left side, but the Banelings finding the damage. There's fights 4-5 places simultaneously. Rogue still trying to break through. Widowmines connect. The Zerglings will eventually be able to deal with the Thors. Where are the medevacs? Rogue has been running him around in circles, and right now it feels like Percival's getting a bit dizzy. Just not having the unit he needs in the right place at the right time. The Thor's out in front with no medevacs to save them. The Muta's cleaning out the 4th base, back into the main. 2 Thors chasing them in medevacs for now. Missile turrets will take out a couple more, but that just frees up supply for the Ultralisks. The Thor's chasing the Mutas! Oh, wow. The Thor drop turrets. One of the most fun strategies. And looks amazing with the hilarious animations of the Thor tucking its legs up because it can't fit in the medevac, of course. The problem is, by the time Percival's able to rebuild one more time, the Ultralisk will be on the field. Chitinous plating will be done. 3-3 upgrades completed. Rogue will have the fully operational Zerg army by the time Percival is ready to really deal with it. The burrowed Zerglings, the changelings. Thor is there, eh? Good thing we're keeping tabs on it. Who are you guys? Name's Thad. Really? It's short for Dave. Ultras, though, chewing their way through. There's just not a critical mass of units here to deal with it. Where are the Mutas? Cleans up whatever was on the right side, if there was anything at all. Will Mines. Big hit, splits off a bit. Sacrifices a few for the good of the many. Single Thor. Just gonna let it go. Tries to pick it up at the last second. That second too late. Ultras and Mutas on the right. Rogue has once again torn him asunder. Percival definitely adapting. The heavier Thor composition doing great against the Mutas, but never able to find the fight. Rogue with 100 less APM. I'm always impressed by Rogue at 360 APM compared to Percival's 450. Able to dictate the pace of the game so completely. But that's just Rogue in a nutshell. Why make many action when few action do trick? Which is a crazy thing to say with Mutas. But 9 more Ultras. A prolonged death animation now for Percival. But Widow Mines will mildly inconvenience the Ultras. Parts of Marines go flying. 100 supply gap. It is one of those death by over 1,000 cuts that it's kind of hard to tell you're completely dead till you look up at the supply, or down in our case, and realize, oh. GG. Rogue with a decisive victory. Muta's 2 games in a row finishes it off with the Ultras. Percival with a great effort to turn it around, but not great enough. And that brings us to our bonus series. You're like, a whole series? Well, when you see it. But Rogue pulling one over on him. Bringing back that old school. I feel like 50% of that for Rogue is trying to relive the glory days of Mutiling Bay. 50% is just kind of limit testing other strategies. And maybe 100% is reason to remember the name. So, Lemon versus Rogue for our anti-spoiler bonus series. Looked at that like, oh, Percival might turn it around. And here's the thing. I think there was an opportunity to. It's just Rogue again kept the pace too high and let Percival kind of trip out. Ah, yes, it's this one. All right. Rogue going to expand to the natural. Now, is it his natural? Who's to say? What is property? Okay, a dangerous question without an answer. If you put a hatchery in someone or near their main base, is that a proxy hatch, or is that just being friendly? This message brought to you by Big Zerg Incorporated. So, Rogue, double expanding. I did love that series, though. I was hoping Percival would take one back, so we could see another game of Mutas and see how that ends. I kind of feel like Rogue would have just done like some big roach all in and crushed him, but... Lemon decides instead of putting the fire out, he's going to stoke it a bit here. Has decided to just slap a pylon down on the other side of the map. Well, kind of other side, down the center of the map. So, proxy pylon. And, okay. Well, Zealot gonna start chewing through the hatchery. Rogue had no intentions of turning the... I think he expected the probes to be pulled. And the fact they weren't is concerning in and of itself. The hatchery just straight up finishes. Meanwhile, though, Rogue... I mean... This proxy base is very unlikely to be scouted. There's a Twilight Council on the way behind. I mean, classic Dark Shrine, maybe? He even builds a couple Zerglings. It's like, well, I have all this larva here. I should probably use it. Builds an Overlord. Just to try to keep him busy. Finds the proxy. The Zerglings could come across. The Adepts are on the other side of this. Zergling speed's only halfway done. Glaved Adepts begin. And Warp Gate still pretty far off. Gotta try to make sure no Zerglings slip out past this point. So far, has done a pretty good job of quarantining them, but the Zerglings working on the pylon, and this creates a very awkward situation for Lemon. The pylon will be taken down. So the third gate of this 3-gate build, does he send out another probe? I believe he does. He's gonna double down on the proxy cheese, but Rogue again. Just kind of running his opponent. Okay, there's the Dark Shrine. Meanwhile, Zerglings will surround the Adepts. It's a disaster. This build a bit of a lemon right now. Trying to intercept that's it. It's over. Rogue just adapts to the situation and overcomes it with ease, bringing us already so quickly into game 2. Like I said, our anti-spoiler bonus series with Rogue once again demonstrating his ability to grab the initiative and no matter what happens next, run with it. I think the 3-gate wasn't a bad call, but it was super obvious because usually you just send probes down to deal with the proxy hatch. If he at least made a token effort towards that, like bring 4 probes or something, and then went for the proxy gate, maybe Rogue would be less suspicious. I wouldn't gamble on that, though. Oh. Incorporeal. This time around, it looks like Rogue only has a hatchery, and will only have a hatchery, at least in the early game, on his own side of the map. Not going to get too crazy with this one, so far at least. I don't know, like, Rogue has been the villain that Dark acted like throughout StarCraft 2 history. Rogue, the guy winning the world championship and then saying Zerg is OP. Just not even... I feel like Dark was always the WWE style. He'll come back to us, Dark. He's not drawn. He's just on extended break for his military service. So like a year and a half at least, but still got like a year. But like, Dark is the WWE heel. The guy who's going to say, I'm the number one, where everybody else says Cyril. Whereas Rogue either is the number one or he isn't. So, it depends really, I guess, if you're a Tosis or a sane person. But his specialty, and this is kind of rare for Zergs, by the way. It's something most attributed to Protoss, which is just winning. Like, doesn't matter what the situation is, what the numbers say, what sort of... just winning. Just finding a way to win, even if it seems completely improbable. Like, Cyril finds a way to win, but most of the time it feels probable, and he's continually calculating and refining the outcomes of the multiverse in order to pick the right one for his universe to succeed and win, or something like that. Whereas Rogue is just there. The Achilles heel of each player. I hate this wall off. I hate it. All right, I was like, I dislike it? No, I very much hate it. Okay. Now, you might be like, why? Why do you hate it? Well, when you wall off with a pylon instead of 2 gates, then that pylon can be killed by Zerglings, which would screw up your entire build. Thankfully, that's just a hypothetical. That doesn't actually happen in real game. The Zerglings trying to get in. Meanwhile, the Adepts... So he did commit the Zerglings across the map, which means he didn't have any at home to deal with the Adepts. But now he's going to kill some probes. So Lemon has some real problems now. And the fact he has to potentially light up the Oracle, recharges it, burns out the Zerglings. But, yeah. The fact that he lost a pylon, He had to waste the energy on the Oracle, has to rebuild the pylon and keep the rest of his adepts at home. It was a bit costly for Rogue, but again, something that... so little, yet so much. That Oracle trying to swing its face around in order to strobe light down the Zerglings, but so much energy already burned to deal with a handful of Lings. So, I mean, you got pretty big hands, but... Ooh! We already know about the Oracle. Ooh. Yeah, it's your first time, but that doesn't mean... Typical. Twilight Council on the way. Is it time for some desperado glaives yet again? No, blink. Lemon. So Rogue again cut into his drone count to get that damage done early. He's not going to have that massive, like, 70 drone economy to pump out whatever he wants. He's going to have to play that more touch-and-go sort of game. 16 Zerglings on the way. Possibly anticipating the Shady Bunch or just trying to keep some pressure on, either way. There are no more... There's one more adept. Just hanging out in the wall. What is it? What do you do? What do I do? You hold position in the wall. That is your purpose. Oh, my Tassadar. Blink halfway there. +1 melee is the choice for Rogue. He's going to be behind on workers and building so many Zerglings. Really banking on crushing this first attack. There's 2 Oracles, which makes it very difficult for the Zerglings to find much damage, but more running around. Blink is done. Back behind the shield battery. Rogue not going to contest it. 38 Zerglings, 26 more in production, +1 melee still a while out. Hydralisk Den in production. The Stasis. He's got to know there's some out there. Triggers 1. Actually catches a chunk of the Lings. Gonna jam him into the corner, though. That's really... Well, that's still too many Stalkers to deal with, for sure. More Zerglings sneaking across. Not really sneaking, but close enough. Gonna just lose the 4th hatchery. Again, Rogue gonna throw himself into something of a base trade scenario. Recalls the Stalkers. Gonna try to break through the Adept. It's watch. Kill me! No. It'll be more painful. You'll never heal. That's true! Also the emotional damage. We don't care about that. That's not covered by your insurance. Oh, no. Sorry. Hydralisk range on the way. Baneling speed as well. +2 hatcheries. Yes, that's what I meant to say. Few slow banes just waddling in. Making my way downtown. That was spiteful. Well, fine. Oh, Queen assassinated by some of the Oracles, and Lemon almost all the way to Storm +1. Rogue without much of an economic lead, if any at all. He's gonna have the 4th hatch. He has a couple more drones. Building 13 Hydralisks. He loves his Lisks. Not gonna lean on the Mutas this time, though. Got a save on that probe. Finally! No, not a shield battery! Please, kill me! Please, turn the battery off! What do you mean you can't? Oh, the Templar! You see? If we had just let the Lings in, the Templar would still be Templar. Stop whining, dude. Hang on. Rogue manages to force out the Archons, but it's still 91 and 93 army supply. Gonna be charged, plus 1 on the ground. There are 18 Hydras, but the Oracle's behind. This is a very dangerous Protoss army. We'll see if he wants to contest. The Warp Prism makes it in the main. 4 charge lots gonna be warped in. And any amount of the army split off gonna make it a lot easier for Lemon to potentially take a game-winning fight. Charge lots? Oh no. This is restricted lair space! Oh, you tell him, Brenda. Charge lots kind of wasted on both sides. But Lemon did buy time. Almost took out the hatchery. The storms to ward away some of the Zerglings, but needs to deal with the Hydras. The Templar. Ooh, a lot of storm damage, but many of the Lings and Banes trickle through. Still quite a critical mass of Stalkers. One of the Templar wandering forward. Still has a storm or two ready. Energy recharge 30 seconds out. And Rogue loses all of his Zerglings, and now the Hydra's turning tail and slithering away. Until they're on the creep, even with speed though, they're gonna struggle. The Warp Prism joins up with the army. Don't know if that was intentional, but he's got it here now. Lurker Den is on the way, but Rogue actually down on supply. Hey, my life for hire, right guys? No, it's my wife for hire. Does she charge a lot? Who are these guys? It's been a weird day today, hasn't it? The Warp Prism intercepted by 4 casual. Oh, he flew over the creep tumors. But the rest of the army on the right flank. There's no Templar, but there are several Archons thinning things out. Templar casually strolls down. Another storm will ward away some of the army. But with the Archons thinning out, he blunks forward. A huge move, going in for the kill. The drones are pulled off the line. Anything to get in front. The Oracle flies in, and Rogue with the drones coming down in order to buffer for the Hydras. May have bought himself a few more seconds, but Lemon continues to warp in. He's got a 10 worker lead. Warps in another round of Templar. But Rogue, he pulls the drones off the line. Because Hydralisks are made of tissue paper and dreams. And we're light on the tissue paper. The Adept finally died at the wall, and the Zealot, not so well suited for the same task, have a tendency to run off. Hive is on the way. Rogue is actually just pulled back, working on Hive Tech Lurkers, realizing that the next fight could be his last if it goes as poorly as the rest have so far. Fleet Beacon is on the way for Lemon. Double Robo as well. Gonna go up to 3 of them, making sure there's enough to blast right through the Immortals. The Zealots try to reposition, just gives the Zerglings a better surround. And this is escalating a bit. Gonna have to give up the base entirely, as the Zerglings are able to surround and rip apart the Zealots. The storms will be a bit of a disproportionate yet effective response. Lurkers. Entrenched. Does he have lurker range? No. Actually, he's getting adaptive talents first. It's kind of a crazy move. The quick burrow. Ground weapons level 2. Now completed for Lemon. Both sides slowing it down as the armies get so dangerous to one another. Lurker range begun. Adrenal glands halfway there. Overlord speed is on the way. Rogue building up. He's going to hit that peak of early late game. It makes sense. Attack. That early lurker range before there are too many Tempests, and by that I mean there are no Tempests. before there's a mothership completed, he's going to be able to use those ranged lurkers. Now, Lemon, having this base down the center established already is incredibly helpful. He's got some more Templar with plenty of energy. But he has almost no vision on the map. He doesn't know about the sheer amount of lurkers, and 115 Zerglings on the field as well. Rogue just going straight down the center, straight up the gut. And a whole bunch of lurkers. He can get the flank with the storms. It's going to take several to soften him up. A precarious position for both sides. Rogue just diving through the center of the Zerglings, get to surround the Templar. The storm's kind of off the mark. The Zerglings ripping down the wall. The lurkers on the right flank. Down the center, trying to break through, taking a lot of damage to the lurkers, but the Immortals will eventually bash through the entire army, but the Zerglings are in the main, the natural, the third, the fourth. Rogue, he did it again. The Executioner claims another. Somehow we go from Mass Immortal Templar Archon. He just finds the spot and slices right through in a single swing. I think that was about as good of an explanation of his nickname as you could get in this day and age. But Percival and Lemon coming up short. Some of our aspiring players right now. Not ranked quite as high, but definitely able to give him the run for his money. But maybe not too tough of a jog today. Hopefully you enjoyed the series as much as I did. And hopefully they made your day just a little bit better. I know a bit of hectic commentary as kind of lost focus there, but bringing it back. All right, just don't draw attention to it. It's better. Here, edit that out. But if you got the means of motivation, it'd be awesome to check out Patreon or YouTube membership. But I hear liking and subscribing is still free, at least for now. So, and thank you to our Mule Tier patrons for bringing in the extra minerals. Big Jiggy Davendor, Kate, Mario Suit. Glad you still enjoyed it, everyone. And I'll see you next time. Good luck. Have fun. Thank you for watching. Stay chill.